Hi, this is the A-Team presentation on ChangeWeb, and um, our team consists of Lindsay, Nancy, Jerry, and Chris. We're going to talk about a school change that happened at the University of Phoenix. We're going to talk about how it affected the school culture. We'll talk about how communications supported this change, and we'll talk about whether or not it was effectively managed. The change that we'll be talking to you about is the new classroom platform change. There was a switch from the old OLS platform to the new classroom platform. The goal was to get things streamlined, and this was completely different from the previous system. So Lindsay's going to talk to you about how it affected the school culture.
Okay. The effect on school culture that the school change had, basically with this new classroom, it not only affected students, but it affected our staff and faculty. So initially when this was rolled out, there was confusion as to when the start dates would be for students to start taking their classes in the new classroom. The dates were consistently being pushed back. And then that made it difficult for staff to communicate when the change was taking place to the students. Employees did not understand whose responsibility it was to communicate this change. And then some students were also in the old classroom as well as the new classroom at the same time. There were instances where students were going from the new classroom back to the old classroom and then again to the new classroom. This actually created a culture of blame amongst staff and faculty, as well as confusion for the students. There was a lot of resistance to change regarding this. There was some pushback from the staff because of this confusion, and then students were also used to taking their classes in one format and didn't like to change to a new format. Faculty was not proficiently trained right away, so they were not getting the training that they needed. And then this created a problem when it came to student satisfaction. Our survey scores were being dropped. So they were coming back with lower satisfaction for the University of Phoenix and our culture as a whole. I'd like to pass it on now to Jerry so she can talk about how support was communicated.
Okay. It started out with an email to the staff and faculty with links to an online training. There was no other training involved. It was all a self-study. Tech support was there to help, so they were involved. They knew what to do with this. And then emails then eventually did go out to students. But between the faculty, staff, and students, the support for communication was severely lacking. Nobody really knew who was doing what, when, and where. As Lindsay mentioned, the dates kept changing. People kept putting off what little training there was to do, and it did not get accomplished. So it ended up in the beginning as mostly self-discovery on the part of the student, the faculty, and the staff. Trial and error seemed to be the way to learn to do the classroom. Training did improve as time went on, and people were able to understand and teach each other the classroom much better at this point. But again, without our tech support, it would have been difficult even to do that. So I'm going to pass this on to Nancy, who's going to talk about how the change was effectively managed.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. So as this new rollout happened and the things that Lindsay and Jerry have both spoke to you about earlier, it became very apparent early on that tech support was going to be the foundation for effectively managing this rollout to the entire university on all levels of students, faculty, and staff. Additional training was identified very early on for students and faculty and staff, especially who are interacting with the folks who are going to be using this new platform. Instructors were a critical part of that, as well as they were student-facing. So it became important for additional training for them to make sure that they were able to deliver the message and deliver support to their students immediately. And it was also important for staff to have additional training as revisions and such were being made to the new platform. As is with any new technology, there's a constant state of revision going on. Feedback was also very critical in the management of this. So not only were instructors giving feedback, so were faculty and so were students with different things that may not have been projected as far as technological challenges, different web browsers, things like that. So as the university or tech support in general was receiving feedback and helping students and faculty overcome some of the challenges that they encountered in the new platform, additional revisions were and are still being made, which really is how it's being managed right now, that it is a work in progress. And revisions are constantly being made in order to support the product and help with the culture and help with the general rollout and usability for all stakeholders.
So our conclusion to this project is that the rollout of this project was a little shaky to begin with, but what we noticed as we explored this process, a lot of the techniques for good coaching and mentoring played a major role in making this successful. There were plenty of coaching from team members as they learned new things about the system. They shared it with the classrooms. And on a personal note, being the team member who doesn't work at the University of Phoenix, I was asked how was my transition to the new classroom, and my response was that it was fairly smooth, simply because I had the support of all of the people in the classroom who had different bits and pieces of knowledge that they shared with me, which I think is the core of coaching, is we share our knowledge and help people move forward. So this is our project. We're going to finish editing it, and we're going to put it up for you to enjoy on Monday night. So have fun with it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
And